Let's do a little road trip over to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Virtual road trip. So we're over here looking at a YouTube channel. This is Jay Reed. Check out his channel if you get a chance. It's got some interesting analysis on stuff. So in Philadelphia, PA, much like some other places in our country, the trash workers are on strike because of low pay and a bunch of other problems. So here's just a picture from around the town. It's going like that everywhere. Let's scroll down and read a little bit about this. So they say low wages is a problem, mass layoffs, unsafe working conditions, sheer exhaustion. They're hauling garbage in heat waves, snowstorms, the worst days of the pandemic. So they're overworked. And it says here that they got a rock bottom morale problem. And the residents are furious. They're furious that they're not getting their garbage. So it looks like this is a big problem. And from what I can tell from the other cities in the USA, this is a problem in a lot of other places. The sanitation workers and other city workers in general are getting tired of being overworked. Let me scroll down and show you a comment. And this is actually why I picked this video. So one of the things that the commenters talk about is dirty diapers and E. coli. So that's a valid point. There might be diapers from baby kids in the garbage. But in a couple slides here, I'm going to show you that the problem is dogs, not diapers, not dirty diapers. Yep. So that's just a quick look at our little video here. Let's go to our next one. So we're on our road trip. Here we go. Go over to Philadelphia, PA, where the garbage workers are overworked and underpaid, but everybody's got money for dogs. So we're looking at all the dog parks in Philadelphia, PA. Look at all these. So what do we know about dog parks? That's where the dog owners bring all their espresso containers, their McDonald's, and their dog feces and other dog products, and they dump them all over the place. Yep. So Philadelphia, PA has these dog parks, and many of them are city and state funded, paid for by your property taxes. Federal spending bills put money into these dog parks. So, dog culture. What can you step up and do something? Can you quit worshiping so many dogs and quit filling our landscape with all this waste and overworking those workers? Can you share some of that money that goes to building and maintaining all your dog parks and give it to those workers? Interesting stuff here. So remember, we were looking at the comment about diapers because they always want to blame a human baby every time we look at dog culture. Yep. Well, Philadelphia has a significant dog population. It is one of the cities with the highest dog ownership in the USA. So that place is getting pumped full of garbage from dog ownership. All the products, all the poop, all the dog bags. Yeah. So, oh wait, what's this? Look, Philadelphia has more households with dogs than children. So, that whole comment about diapers or kids and their garbage, some of the other comments are going to blame little kids. Oh, little kids and their trash and stuff. Oh. Yeah. Shut your mouth, dog worshiper. That place is filled with dogs. And I've made this point before about our labor force. With all of those households full of dogs instead of raising kids, the next generation of laborers or innovators that might work for that sanitation department and help solve some of these problems, they're not going to be there. Instead, what's going to be there is a bunch of more dogs and puppies and accidental litters, non-tax paying, non-labor providing dogs that just fill the city with garbage and overwork those garbage workers. You know, dogs that get free taxpayer money too. Why don't they share some of their money? And as we just mentioned, dog owners contribute significantly to waste production. Millions of tons of dog waste in the landfills. Production of dog food and pet products goes to the overall environmental burden. Oh, speaking of pet products, Look at all these Petcos in Philadelphia, PA. Are these contributing to the massive amounts of bags of garbage that these sanitation workers have to deal with? Of course they are. Look at all these places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, or more. More Petcos. What is at the back of Petcos? Dumpsters that are full. Everybody that goes to Petco, they get home and unwrap their little doggy gifts, and then they throw that in the garbage. 2 days later, the dog chews it up and it goes in the garbage. Let's pop back over to our Jay Reed video for a second. I just wanted to show you something in this picture. On the left of your screen, we have a mattress. It actually looks to be pretty intact. It looks like a couch or love seat. And there's some other furniture in the back. You guys want to go ahead and bet me about $5.99 that those things were chewed up by dogs and finally pissed and shit on by dogs and had to be thrown in that garbage? If you look at some of the pictures, there's other points in this video. There's furniture, and look at it, there's tape. If you look a little bit closer, there's tape all over this couch. What does that mean? That means the dog was chewing on it. Finally, the dog took one too many dumps on it, and it ends up in the landfill. Billions of couches end up in landfills because of dogs. So, yeah. What else is going on while we're looking around, hanging out in Philadelphia, PA? Oh, they got free dog poop bags for the dog owners. So while they're handing out free dog poop bags, they're probably purchased on a city contract, so they're probably more expensive than the ones you get in Amazon. Yep, the city workers, hey, we can't give you any more money or time off, but, we got lots of free stuff for our local dog owners. All right, now we're back cruising around Philadelphia, PA on our little road trip, and look what we found. A whole gang of dog groomers. They're everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, probably more. So what do dog groomers produce? Lots of waste. Those dogs, when they groom them, they put them in this big tub because they will shit and piss themselves. And those things have scabs and ticks and fleas, and everything else goes right into the city sanitation and drain. More nasty shit for those poor workers to deal with. And these dogs that are in these places over here getting groomed, they're not going to go and be part of the labor force. They're not going to go apply at the sanitation and say, hey, I heard you guys need some more workers, and I'm here to work and do my share. Nope. They're going to go home and produce more garbage. What else are we going to find when we cruise around our little road trip? Humane societies all over the place. Rescue, dog rescue, pit bull rescue. Look at all this. Look at all this crap. How much money and time and waste production are we talking about here? And do any of these dogs that are in these places, are they going to be part of the labor force? No. So they're diluting the labor force, and they're producing waste, and they're sucking down money that is probably partly deserved by those poor sanitation workers. It's like a triple threat on this whole thing. And let me show you guys something else about these. So many of these animal things that I'm showing you they're not directly taxpayer funded, because like private equity firms and 501c3 companies buy them out or just create these companies. However, these are indirectly taxpayer funded. So as we read here, Philadelphia does not have taxpayer funded dog rescue organizations. Okay, well, if we look at the by the book definition, but let's understand this better. So 501c3 are not directly taxpayer funded, but they benefit from tax exempt status, which means they can receive donations that are tax deductible. So if you're a celebrity or a millionaire or a business owner and you want to reduce your tax liability, you can go give thousands and thousands of dollars to these places right here, and then they don't have to claim that money that you give them as income. So they do operate basically taxpayer funded. They rely on a good taxpayer base. They rely on the society having a bunch of people working their asses off, paying lots of taxes. 501c3s would not exist if it was not for taxpayers and workers. So those sanitation workers, they are providing the environment. They are providing the environment for a 501c3 to work. You know, if we didn't have taxpayers, if we didn't have the same structure that those sanitation workers are probably having to live under, then these organizations would not work, because there would be no benefit to having the tax deductible money. They would have to figure out a different way to do it. So while they're getting tons of donations, while they're spending money and not claiming those expenses, all for the sake of dogs that pile waste onto the city, dogs that will never contribute to the labor force, the 501c3 is getting all this money. But what about the sanitation workers? Are they able to do this? Can they take donations in like this? No, they can't. And so it's just crazy. It's crazy how all this stuff works, and nobody really looks at it. And they're probably going to blame climate change or Democrats or Republicans or racism or something else like that, and nobody is going to ever look at any of this stuff. So yeah, that's been our look at Philadelphia garbage. So have a look at this guy's video if you want, and then check out the description below and check out my sources. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment. See you guys later.